Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Leah. This is Take Up Space Podcast. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Take Up Space Pod. That's Take Up Space POD. Today we are going to be talking about supporting Black businesses. And the reason why this is very important to Taking Up Space is because we have to have the representation. We do not have a lot of representation, especially in our communities, not even on a national level. I'm just at a local level. There are maybe some Black-owned businesses here and there, but there has not been a consistent building of Black business communities in quite a while. And with this current revolution that's going on, there's a resurgence of people who are able to step out into the forefront that we can back to help the communities, knowing that the money will stay there longer, knowing that we'll have resources, that we have people who can help and people we can look up to be mentors and things like that, to be successful in establishing a real sense of economic empowerment. So today I just want to talk about the importance of it, and hopefully you'll be able to let me know in the comments what Black businesses that you are supporting and what Black businesses are coming up, even if it's your own, especially if it's your own. Never be afraid to promote yourself. Never be afraid to put yourself out there, because that's the only way you'll be able to build those resources and build those connections. But first, I have a message to all the friends of Black business owners. Please understand, your friend who is now a business owner is no longer the plug. I'm going to say that one more time. Your friend who owns a Black business is no longer the plug. If you are utilizing any part of their time during their normal work day or during their normal working time, it should be paid for. And not everybody's like that. But I'm just saying you should approach the situation innocent, especially if you're asking them for advice in their field. If your friend is a CPA, if your friend is a marketing manager, if your friend is a secret shopper, or your friend is a makeup artist, and you're asking them for tips and tricks and all this kind of stuff, always go in with the mindset of offering them something, because they are literally working for themselves. And whatever time you're taking up, that's time that they could be using to reach out to other people. There are a lot of people who are selling themselves short because their mindset is still being the plug, without realizing that being the plug is not gonna pay your light bill. Being the plug is not gonna make sure that you keep a roof over your head. Being the plug is literally just being the resource for people to pay at cost for what you're paying full price for. So, as a friend, always make sure that if you can't pay for it, barter. If you offer something in the meantime, like, I can't pay you for it, but I can offer you this. I have these resources that I can connect you with. You can always promote the business. You can always share some business cards. You can always get them connected with other people. There's a whole network of people that you may know that you can get your friend in front of. So even if you're unable to pay them monetarily, have a way to honor their time, to honor their skills and their abilities and their talents, so that you're not just coming with your hat in hand. Hey, what can I get for free? There was a person who said that to me about 5 months ago. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget this. I will never forget this. This person came to me when they realized that I was starting a business, and they said, no lie, what can I get for free? And at that point, I was doing consultations, and I stopped it. I was just like, nope, because I don't want my time to be seen as something to be played with. I don't want my time to be, or I don't want my talents or my skills to be disrespected. And even with that whole situation, I had to help that person understand that you as a business owner, me as a business owner, our time is valuable. I'm not going to spend it chasing down anybody. I'm not going to spend it running after any money, or I'm not going to spend it looking to give people freebies. That's not what I'm spending my time doing. I want to maximize my ability to utilize my skill to make sure that I'm able to be properly, not just monetarily, but properly compensated with connections to resources, with financial gain, with mentorships, with getting in front of the right audiences and things like that, making sure that my products and services are out there. So friends of small business owners, please, if you are a real friend, support your friends by not asking them to be the plug. Don't treat them as the plug. If they're still working at Foot Locker and you were able to get the plug, cool. Working at Apple, whatever, they're working for other corporations, fine. But once they start working for themselves, they are no longer the plug. To my business owners, you're no longer the plug. You no longer have any. You don't, like, even if you weren't the plug before, but you don't have any responsibility to try to sell yourself short for the sake of making a quick buck, because that's going to come and bite you later on, because you're going to be in the mindset, well, I should lower my prices, I should discount. Like, mind you, make sure you do your research for whatever products and services you sell. Make sure that you are honoring what you have to offer, but also that the market is able to support your business. So it wouldn't make sense to, like, sell ice in Antarctica. It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't really make sense. But make sure that your market is able to sustain where you are, and that your prices are not inflated just because your ego is going up. Let that sit right there. But that's my PSA. That's what I wanted to say. Ultimately, supporting Black businesses will stimulate a Black economy, which is more about economic empowerment than anything else, because that's something that Black people as a whole, since being in this country, have not experienced. The way that it is right now, as soon as we get money in our communities, it goes right back out to another community. And that's why our funds are considered liquid, because as soon as we get a paycheck, we got to pay rent or pay a mortgage. And who owns the area that you live in, who owns the house that you're renting or the apartment complex or anything like that, automatically goes back out. You pay your car note, you pay your light bill, you buy groceries, like all these things. It doesn't stay in our community for very long. But if we take a second to even look at it like this, say we start as a community, say we start investing in ourselves, and we create a habit of supporting each other, create a habit of uplifting each other, create a habit of investing in each other. Then we have hair care by us for us, makeup by us for us. I know this is already happening, but stay with me here. Then we have more Black owned and operated entities, such as photographers, studios, content. Then we realize that the equipment that we've been using could use an upgrade. Well, since we have been reinvesting into our communities, any funds we get, because the money stays here longer, we have more access to resources, and we've been steady building up our communities. We can then let some of our people that we've invested in the STEM field, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, Let them know, hey, some of the equipment that we use can use an upgrade. You take a look at Baby Boy, right? The movie Baby Boy. A lot of people in that movie were dark skinned, and some of the shots were done at night or in dark rooms, and they had to have people, or even the movie Us. I know more people saw Baby Boy than the movie Us, but there were some scenes, because they're so dark skinned, they have to light it up by using all the lights of New York to make sure that they are shown on camera, because the cameras don't really. They kind of just blend us into the background. It's just our melanin. But but because we would have people who have resources and who would be in those fields, we can let them know, hey, there's a need for this. Can you help us out? And by us having that need and them having the resources, that's something else that we'll be able to check off and be like, yep, this is done. And the reason why I think about that is because there was a news segment, like 10 years ago maybe, where it was like when there were automatic faucets at some campus or whatever, and there was a white guy and a black guy, and they were showing how the white guy, it came on every single time he put his hands under there. But when the black guy put his hands under the faucet never turned on. And it was the manufacturer, the inventor, or someone who said that they didn't take into consideration people of darker skin tones, that is not recognizing it. And it only recognizes the lighter skin tones when the hands are under there, which it didn't even cross his mind. Wasn't even a thought. But when we have people who look like us to develop products and services that will help us, then we're able to have more representation, where we're able to utilize the best and the brightest minds to make sure that we have the products and services that are needed for us. So we absolutely, especially in skincare and hair care, these, I know we have some now, and businesses, I'm telling you, I am so proud of these people who are in who are in makeup and skincare, that are by and for Black people, because it's interesting to think about how products and services are created, but they're not, and you just happen to need that, but they're not created for you. So for instance, when there's hair care or lotion or body wash or perfume or whatever else, right? When those things are created for us but not by us, it is by a company or a group that has studied Black people, or studied our skin tone, or if they took the time to study, right? Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt, said they took the time to study. They study our hair, they study our skin, they study our habits and things like that, and say, okay, this is what you should use, without necessarily knowing what our end goal is. They just see what the problem is, right? And so they create some sort of solution, whether it be toothpaste or lotion or body wash or shampoo, conditioner, whatever the case may be, right? However, when we have Black people who create skincare, hair care, nail care, or other beauty products, makeup lines, they have had our skin their whole lives. They know what it's like to be surrounded by people of different tones, different, not just different complexions, but different needs based on different things that they've experienced in their life, based on different hair textures, based on different skin types, and also based on the goal. They know what it's like to have our hair chemically straightened, chemically curled, hot combs on Easter Sunday. to have it brushed, to have it combed, to go back to natural, back to chemically maintained. There's so many different experiences that are necessary when coming up with products, because having that kind of representation, they know what our goals are in getting our hair done. Some people just, want the twist out look, and it's like, well, here's some shampoo. What does it do? It cleans your hair, I guess. It's like, well, that's not just what I want from my shampoo. That's not just what I need, or why is this so light, or things like that. And so having someone who has not only studied but also lived the experience is very important, because they can speak to exactly not just what the problem is, but what the goal is in fixing it, and being able to cater to that. That would make more sense to me. So when we are supporting our Black businesses, we are supporting our communities. And when we support our communities, we have greater economic power, which gives us the access to resources that we may not have had on a consistent basis. Some people, now don't get me wrong, there are some people who have consistently had access to different resources, but that has not been the case for Black people as a whole since being in this country. But giving us greater economic power helps us to build more, gives us access to more resources, and help us to build generational wealth. So it's not just a one-off thing where we look to one person saying, well, if this one person can do it, but it's a community thing where our community has more than one people that we are leveling up and we are upholding on a regular basis. That's when things are greater. But let's not get it twisted. Supporting Black businesses is not about, sticking it to the man or a protest against other cultures. It's not. Let's not create this false narrative of, because I am pro-Black, I'm anti everyone else. That's not the case. That is absolutely not the case. Being pro-Black means that I'm Black first, and I want to support my people first before going out to help others. I'm not saying that it is that we should defy, but I think that having the opportunity that we have right now is more important to stimulate our economy and our communities, because that is something that we have not seen or experienced for a consistent period of time, where we have been able to continuously grow. There's always some growth and stops, some growth, and then they're like, burn it all down. Where we've no matter how far we get in it, no matter how great we come in it, there's always other powers that be that want to destroy it. But now I feel like we are in a revolution that would help to jumpstart the beginnings of our economic power as a whole. With social media now, it's easier now more than ever to be more intentional in seeking out Black businesses, because a lot of times people think that Black businesses, they're just making jewelry or doing t-shirts, and no. There are financial advisors, there are mechanics, there are dealers, there are salesmen, there are marketing managers, there are craftspeople, there are teachers. Let me tell you, if you are intentional in it, there are so many other vocations and skills that Black people have other than just doing quote unquote applied arts. So there's so many other things, because once we've studied something and we know something, we know that we know it and we're good at it. And that's what I love about us. That's what I love about what we do. And so before, you would just hope that, the person who owns this or the person who does this in this community, you be able to maybe find somebody who's Black who can do it. But with social media, it's easier to be intentional. If you are intentional about it, it's easier to be intentional about finding Black businesses. I'm not saying that they're going to be right around the corner from you, because in my area where I am, there's not a lot of grocers that are Black. There's maybe one or two in this whole area, but they're quite a distance away. But it is a lot easier to find people if I'm looking for a CPA, if I'm looking for someone who offers financial assistance, people who are looking to assist with developing business and getting the paperwork filed, people who are contractors, people who are mechanics. There's different business owners who are very well established, and they are getting the light that they deserve, especially during this time. So there's a couple stigmas that I want to speak to as we begin to wrap this up, so that we can hopefully get past it. There's two things that I think that keep people from really supporting Black businesses the way they should. I choose not to focus on the stigmas and to focus on all the positive things, and that's why that's one of the reasons why it's easier for me to support Black businesses. Two of the things that I think that have really kept us from being better than where we are today, internally, not external sources, not external forces. I'm just talking about internally in the community. We have been conditioned to not trust each other. There's always this mentality when I talk to other people that you don't know what they're doing over there. You don't know what kind of products you're going to get. You don't know what kind of services, blah, 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 blah. And it's honestly that conditioning that Black people shouldn't be trusted that has kept going. And I think that's why a lot of people are just like, I don't know. I don't really know. And the only way we can really get beyond that is just to start building up the integrity in our community. Treat your business how you want to be treated as a person. If you are a person, and how you are as a person is really going to show in your business. It really is. If you are a person of integrity, of honor, it's going to show in your craftsmanship. It's going to show in the way you do your work. If you are a person who tries to get over on people, it's going to show very, very quickly. You won't last very long because you're steady trying to finesse someone out of a couple bucks. But by and large, a lot of the people who I have worked with, a lot of the businesses that I have frequented, they have been upstanding. They have been great. I have been able to make some good connections, and it's really going to take us having the time to build the integrity amongst ourselves and people being intentional about wanting to build those relationships. The second stigma that I think that we can overcome fairly quickly is that people think or say, and this has been just like as a general consensus, that the quality of the work is cheap. People don't want to pay Black people what they're worth. And so it's easier to do a half job for somebody else than to put your heart and soul into your job of your passion of what you want to do and have somebody come. Like, there was some artwork that I saw, and rightfully so, $200. And I couldn't afford it, to be honest with you. I couldn't afford it at the time. So, but what I did was I reposted it and was just like, yo, go check this person out. They have some really dope art. They've been very successful. So and it was amazing, beautiful art. But even if a lot of people would look at that and be like, I'll give you $50 for it. And it's like, no, that's what that person has put into their art. And but had it been someone else, had it been quote unquote one of these big names, oh yeah, it would drop 15, 20,000, 1.4 mil. Let me get a Banksy. Let me get this. You don't know when the next big artist is going to come out. So anything that's just dope art, I just go get it. Or, at that time, if I can afford it, or try to support it in some way by sharing or subscribing or being a follower or whatever the case may be, because I like the work that they put out. And because supporting a Black business is not always monetary. It's not always monetary, but we have this notion that, it's cheap work, or I can get it for the low. No, we have to break that mindset. But some of the greatest things, I think one of the greatest things of doing business with other Black businesses and supporting the community is we have a dope network. It's like strictly business. It's just because when you're in a room full of Black business owners, and it's just normal just to see a bunch of Black people who are successful at what they do. And even if they're startups, they still walk like they're successful. They talk like they're successful. They have mentors. We talk about different things. Oh, what is your business plan looking like? What is your strategy? Where's your finance coming from? Do you need investors? Like, that is so amazing. Being able to have access to those resources, you create such a dope network. And the network of people that you become friends with, that you start working with, that you do business with, that is something that will set you up to be successful from now to the end of time. And it's great. It's kind of like having it's almost like its own fraternity, but it is such a close knit, understood family where everybody is looking to feed everyone, and it's not like I'm not gonna slight you, because I know that if I slight you, I slight myself, and then I'm hurting the community. And so it's more important now to build up that economic power, not just for ourselves, but for our communities and for the coming generations. So if we start doing business with each other, be intentional about supporting, Black businesses on a regular basis, not just, one day a year, not just when things go bad, but because these businesses are operating all year round. They're operating all year round. Even if you can't support them financially, share their stuff, repost their stuff, get a bigger audience for them, help them to maybe get in front of different people that they may not have been, or even if you have a resource, collaboration is one thing that I love seeing now. People are more willing to collaborate. Before, it was like kind of hush hush. Oh, I don't want you to see what I'm doing, because I don't want you to try to replicate. We had that crabs in a barrel mentality. But now people are sharing, oh, well, I'm using this equipment, I'm using this software, I'm doing this on social media, I'm being able to put out this. More people are putting out masterclass. Some are free, some are paid, and they're relatively they're, for what you get out of it, they are relatively inexpensive. Where you pay your $150, $200, and your social media game looks like you get 10, 15 years of social media studying, and you are able to bloom into ridiculousness. It is crazy the amount of information that we share, but being able to have access to that kind of network, you can't get it anywhere else. You simply can't get it anywhere else. But supporting Black businesses is of the utmost importance. I hope that you take the time to evaluate where you can start. You can start supporting. Everybody can't do everything all at one time, and I don't think that is necessary because it's not sustainable. But even if it's a one-time, once a month thing, a once a week thing, a once a day thing, replacing certain products with Black-owned Forest Bias products, those kinds of things, that really helps to create a wealth in your communities that are in our communities that we haven't seen on a national level in this country. And so starting locally, helping to get some light shined on different businesses, friends, be an asset, be an ally. And I hope that as Black business owners that you make sure that you're paid what you're worth. Don't sell yourself short. It's going to be hard, especially if you're used to being the plug, but it will definitely be worth it. Thank you all for listening. This has been Take Up Space Podcast. I'm your host, Leah. Please make sure that you follow us on Take Up Space Pod. That's Take Up Space POD on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And let us know what Black businesses you support. I want to be able to help as many people as I can throughout this time. So if you have a podcast, a clothing brand, a music company, if you have a distribution company, if you are a truck driver, if you are a hairstylist, whatever you do, make sure you comment below. Let us know what you do, how people can support you, where people can support you, and love you, appreciate you. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on all social media. Have a good one. See you next week. Bye.